Hi guys, welcome back to AFTV and welcome back to News Daily. I'm here with Robbie. We've got to pick ourselves up a little bit because we've been filming a lot of content around what was quite possible. Do you know what? One of the most miserable weekends from like an Arsenal results perspective that I can remember. Every one of our supposed rivals won. We're the only team to put in a performance like that.
Shocking, absolutely shocking. It was a really tough weekend because, as you said, Friday night our game was. So you lose that game on a Friday night, you're already feeling hurt. Then you got to witness on Saturday, Man United.
Batter Leeds.
Played brilliantly.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, it wasn't just that they battered Leeds, it's how they played. The performance, Pogba, Bruno Fernandes and everything. Then you witness Liverpool, batter Norwich. All their big guns off the start, you know what I mean? Salah. Then Tottenham. Yeah. Chelsea. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd even throw in Leicester beating Wolves, and then Everton coming from a goal down to beat Southampton 3-1. Yeah. And you're thinking, oh my God, this is going to be... really appalling weekend if you're an Arsenal fan. And we've really felt the pain this weekend. We really have. Yeah. And I'm still hurting from that performance because you know what? The first game of the season, you're supposed to be so buzzing, so up for that game, which the fans were. I was at the game, and the fans were brilliant. The Arsenal fans were so loud. You could, I met so many fans. Oh, it's great to be back. Fantastic to be here. And then they go and put in a performance like that. Shocking performance. I mean, there are some. Do you know the thing is this morning, James? I was saying to myself, Robbie, don't get carried away because there are some mitigating circumstances, right? There was no Aubameyang or Lacazette. There was none of those other big teams that we just spoke about that went in missing so many key players as we did. There was no Thomas Partey. There was no Gabriel. These are our best players in these positions. I'd even chuck in Odegaard because we had him last season. It looks like he's coming back. And
no Odegaard, no Saka really, because remember Saka's only had like about 30 minutes pre-season.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So you could see even yesterday when I was watching City, you could see like a Sterling, for instance. He's a bit undercooked. He's had no pre-season. Yeah. So I'll bring in that in mitigation. However, what I still look on, I'm like, it's what I saw there. The tactics, the lack of tactics, the fact that we just spent most of the game just passing the ball around. No creativity. It just seemed to me, watching that game, that there is no pattern of play. What is our style? What's our style? You tell me. You guys, you did the Tactical Insight show this morning. I want to know, maybe you might be able to articulate it better than me. What is Arsenal's style?
Okay, I want to say something a bit unpopular, and people will call me like an Arteta sympathiser and all that, but I think there is a style. I just think it really doesn't suit Arsenal. So if I were to explain what I think Arteta's style is controlled possession, controlled build up the pitch, getting into areas where like elite quality makes the difference. So when I look at Man City, for example, how many times do they score a goal because Riyad Mahrez dropped the shoulder 3 times and put it in the top corner, or Kevin De Bruyne played like the most unbelievable through ball, or they did things at a pace that got them in behind, and the movement and the pockets and positions they got into, ultimately led to a goal. I think Arsenal get themselves into the final third really well. Like, I think our build-up...
Do you?
No, I do.
No, I don't.
Hear me out here. The defence is a mess, we know that. Last season it wasn't, weirdly. But I think in terms of going from like the edge of our box to the edge of the opposition's box, I actually think we do that quite well. I think we progress from defence to attack well. But when we get in and around the penalty area, I think we're absolutely clueless. Look how many times Tierney did overlap and then the cross hit the first man, or he got a ball into the box but it was dealt with easily, or the amount of times Lokonga and Smith Rowe had the ball on the edge of the area trying to force something, almost like they've got to a certain point but they've had their instinct taken away. They've had their what you would naturally want to do in certain positions. Like you think of Aubameyang, who struggled in the last year under Arteta. He's the kind of guy who sometimes just lump it over the top and I'll chase it because there's space. But we never do that. We want to slowly make our way up the pitch. I'm not saying I like it. I think that's the kind of football that maybe 10, 15 years ago probably worked. But the Premier League, its intensity and its pace has only got better. And we seem the only team. I mean, look at City against Spurs yesterday. I felt that they had all the ball, and then actually Spurs were so resolute. City didn't have an answer, not without their
and their
best.
players are 10 times better than us. And I think this guy here,
exactly.
Tejas, sums it up very well. He says, Arteta style, try to pass the ball forward and hopes the scoreboard changes automatically. You know?
Yeah, I mean a little bit that.
I don't think we progress the ball out from the back well at all. I think we progress the ball. We're very slow in the way and passive in the way we pass the ball out from the back. We get caught in our own half with the ball many, many times. And he got tactically outdone at the weekend, right? You know what I mean? Because Brentford are normally they're a passing team normally. But they didn't go passing. They changed it up. They switched it up.
Yeah.
Which is what he needs to learn to do sometimes. Yeah. They went long up to Ivan Toney. They won second balls. You know, I said I did an interview with Billy from Besotted, the Brentford YouTube channel for BBC. And I said to him, I go, if I hadn't have seen that B sign on your shirts, I would have thought we were playing Stoke. Because, you know, long throws, hitting the ball up to Ivan Toney. They were very direct, but I'm not holding it against them because brilliant. They did their homework and it worked. Yeah. And they out-muscled us, they bullied us. Yeah. And we were just so passive. It was unbelievable. And I just felt that the tactics were wrong. And even if that is your style, which is progressing it from the back up, if it's not working, you've got to try something else. Yeah. There was another team I saw play just like Arsenal at the weekend, and they got battered as well. And that was Norwich. Right. Kept trying to pass the ball out from the back. They played against Liverpool. Yeah. Liverpool just said, yeah. Exactly. Well, you've forgotten who we are. We press. And they just kept winning the ball off of them. And they sometimes you've got to get the ball in the opposition half quickly and try and do something. And we were just so bad, so poor. It's got me wondering that even if we had 3-4 new signings in there, would there be much of a difference the way he's playing? No. I think Mikel Arteta as well gives too many instructions. Yep. You know, I've spoken to journalists who were at some of the games last year when there were no fans, and they said he just spends half of the games, go there, you go there, too many. Sometimes you've got to let some of these players play as well. Well,
did you see the stories in the press that apparently he's too involved in training? Supposedly there's a bit of unrest, and these are rumours in the press, but it is out there, and they're saying that apparently some of the players aren't happy with how involved he is in training, almost to he's the manager, of course he'll be involved, but you know, like we've all seen it, right? You're taking your son to play, and I remember when I used to play, the coach would say, right, we're going to do this drill, and 10 seconds in he goes, right, stop there, you know, and it's kind of like, apparently he's got that kind of nature about him, Arteta, which doesn't surprise him when you see what he's like on the touchline.
I mean, Pranjol says, would you blame Aubameyang's poor form over the last season on the manager or Aubameyang himself?
With every day that goes by, I blame it more on Arteta than I do on Aubameyang. I really do.
I think they both got to take blame because Aubameyang's been poor. There's no doubt about it. But also the manager has to take some responsibility because we just got no creativity right now. And that's the other thing. What's happened to Aubameyang and Lacazette? Right? Now, obviously we turned up to the game. We'd heard a few hours before that they're both ill. Right? So they're going to miss the game. Now we're hearing they're probably going to miss the game at the weekend against Chelsea. Remember, that's not until Sunday. Now, what is the illness? Is it the malaria's flared back up? Does he have COVID? Do they both have COVID? I'm thinking Aubameyang here. But do both him and Lacazette have COVID? What is it? We are living in a digital age, an age of YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, you know, Twitch, TikTok, you name it. WhatsApp. Surely somebody at Arsenal needs to tell either Arteta, if these things are genuine, that if you don't tell people what the reasons are a bit more specific. You haven't got to go deep into what the reasons are, but a little bit more specific as to why they maybe miss so many games. People are going to start reading between the lines. Is there a problem there? What's going on behind the scenes? Has there been a fallout? Is there an argument? And that's what's happening now. Links, I was talking about my Transfer Daily show this morning. Linking Aubameyang and Lacazette in a swap deal with Barcelona. All of this has emerged because of the uncertainty and the communication that's come out around that. Or is there a problem? Because it seems to me like there could be a problem unless, because if someone's got, don't you just say he's got COVID?
Right. That's what.
There's no shame in that.
Someone missed a game. Ryan Bertrand, I think.
Yeah.
I think Ryan Bertrand.
COVID is, he's going around at the moment.
He tested positive, so he's, it's. I've got to say, I'm with you. I find it staggering, and it's when you add to it little things like, as far as I'm aware, neither of them posted on their social media to say, good luck, guys, whatever, or shame about the result. But those little things that you normally do for kind of good PR. Arteta was very weird when he was asked about it after the game, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just they're unwell. It's incredibly unfortunate. We go, we'll go again. We look forward to having them back. It's kind of like,
And remember, these are two players that are best friends.
Best friends, and actually, when you put the pieces together, remember we've been saying all summer. Listen, we know Arsenal need a striker going for in the future, but is that really a problem position for us right now? And I bet Lacazette, with a year left on his contract, Aubameyang, who's just signed a new deal, was, as far as we're aware, promised the world. I can imagine they sort of, knocked on Arteta's door and said, what's this Tammy Abraham you're wanting to sign? And we're seeing these links with Lautaro Martinez. What's going on? And I can imagine that was a pretty frosty conversation if it happened. I think when you put the pieces together, it doesn't look good. But it is still speculation, and that's the problem with this club. We ask for communication. We want to know why our highest paid player, our captain, isn't involved on the opening day of the season, and we get some of the most coy responses.
Yeah, he's ill.
Do you believe it? Okay, I get what you're saying. They have told us, so we should believe it. But I think when you
be a bit more specific, because as I said, people just make up their own narrative on it.
Yeah.
I mean, Ahmed says, I'm a Man United fan and I'm gutted to see what's happening at Arsenal. I don't believe you. Right? You guys have decent names but need to get rid of Arteta and get a manager as big as Arsenal. Even if it's just to attract players, that's the worst thing when they start feeling sorry for us. That's the worst thing.
Yep.
Same Jay says, we're poor on multiple fronts. Arteta's tactics are horrible. His training isn't something the players are liking. The players are disinterested in winning for him, and Edu has ruined our recruitment. And Shref says we froze out Ozil, Guendouzi, threw out Martinez. They all wanted to play for us. Every big team can retain, but us. Sell players, but us. Not even BVB says. And one other one here, Antonio says, problem with Arteta is that his football philosophy is theoretically based on a warped perception, being an assistant at City with deep pockets, right? And I don't know, man. It's just, I don't want to be negative. I've been trying my hardest all weekend not to be negative, but I'm gonna be honest with you. There's nothing really positive I can say about what happened on Friday, and I feel that a lot of the negativity that's happened has been of Arsenal's own making.
Yeah.
Because I remember we all sat here when the fixture list came out, right? Remember the fixture list came out start of June?
We did a live stream.
When we did a live stream, I think it was me and you, wasn't it?
Yeah, me, maybe.
Did a live stream, and in that live stream, I said, wow, tough start. We got to be ready. Mm-hmm. Brentford away, Chelsea at home, Man City away. We have to be ready for that. Got to get the main signings in early, and we haven't done it. We're talking about running around now trying to get Odegaard. If we do get Odegaard, why couldn't we have done that so that he could have been in for that game? I just don't understand what Arteta and Edu have been doing in the transfer market. Their priorities seem to have been Ben White.
Yeah.
Well, not seem to be, it was. But what about the creative midfielder? What about the right back? You got Hector Bellerin at the moment, he's another guy who looks very, very unhappy, desperate to leave, right? Why haven't we been able to get that sorted?
And you think some really, really big decisions have been made under Arteta and Edu. I mean, if you started from a player perspective, you've had the Ozil situation, Saliba with the loans, and I think we can tell that he wanted to stay and fight his place, although that is me speculating. The Guendouzi situation.
Speculating, it's facts.
Now we're here talking about Lacazette and Aubameyang. You then look at Edu, in that time Raul Sanyehi left the club. You've got Francis Cajagal who left, who was a scout for like 15 plus years, found Cesc Fabregas and all these players. He left. They said that they're revamping the academy. Per Mertesacker seems to be the only one doing his job properly, because the academy prospects, coming through have been superb. Even Willock, who's not made it, went for 25 mil. So some really, really big decisions have been made under them two, that with every decision you're kind of more and more desperate for it to work, because you kind of think if it doesn't, then they've set us back a long way. But you're right, we want to be positive, and there is still a lot of the window to go. That they
so
can...
give me some positives, man.
Okay, I'll give you some positives. I do like, despite the window having been a bad one, I do like the players they've brought in. On the whole, actually, since working together, I really like Gabriel. Mary's more than competent backup.
Yeah, wait.
Oh, go on.
This window, let's talk about.
Fine.
You're talking about a lot of...
I was getting there. I'd like to just go in order.
Historic. What about this window now? This
Fabregas was great.
Fabregas was great.
We went unbeaten in 2004.
Yeah, that's exactly it. When we want to be positive, that's what we've got to start doing. We've got to start going, I got a positive. The kits are good.
Yeah, the kits are good.
The kits are good.
Okay, Tavares, I think, looks a really savvy bit of business as a backup left back. I've liked everything I've seen when he's come on. Lokonga, I think, looks incredibly classy. And I thought he was the one trying to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, along with Smith Rowe. I think Ben White, who had a shocker against Brentford, will prove to be a very, very good signing. So I'm happy we brought him in. And the youngsters, Martinelli, Saka, Smith Rowe, Balogun. Okay, didn't have his best debut, but I thought he did some nice things. So I think if things weren't to go well for this regime, I think there's a really good foundation for whoever was to come in to build off. But I'm not one of these people who wants to just sack them and move on. I want it to work for these guys. I want it to work now.
I mean, I was at the game, obviously, the other night, and after the game, I said to this fan, I said, the only positive I can see really from tonight is the fact that we're here as fans. We've been able to come back. Great atmosphere and everything like that. And the guy turned around to me and said, "That ain't a positive, Robbie. I would have rather stayed at home and watched it." Oh my God.
Sometimes I love the simplicity of football fans in the sort of
Mr. Podolski says, we're not attractive enough for top quality players. We're going to end up with 0 points after 3 games. Jesus. It's a possibility. Arnab says, hi guys. Why does everyone keeps asking didn't DT put on his thing that he's taking time out? Please, everyone leave the guy to have his peace at the moment. Bradley says, Robbie, I know you won't believe this, chat, but Lacazette is definitely leaving and looks like he'll be going to Juventus. Remember this chat? Wow. So he's a ITK. And Owen says, Robbie, why do you always say Arteta said he's being backed? What else do you expect him to say? Arsenal issues are bigger than Arteta. The players, it's deep-rooted issue from the top to the bottom.
I disagree personally with that.
I wouldn't say I'm being backed if I'm not being backed.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
These footballers, and they're like politicians. They got ways of not answering that. But he's always like, I'm being backed. So
that's the difference.
If you're being backed, and I think it was you saying earlier that they're going to back him to. What did you say? You saw John Cross right at the Mirror?
Yeah, I think he said that the Arsenal board, whoever, are prepared to sanction 3 more big signings or something.
But why didn't they do them already? That's what I'm saying. The main ones, the big ones, for the first game of the season. Why didn't we do them? And then now we've lost that game. We've got Chelsea coming up. We'll be facing Lukaku because he would have finished his quarantine. So he'll be up for that game. Probably when we play Man City, Harry Kane will be signed.
Just Lukaku.
Yeah, we got to be prepared and ready for a difficult start to the season. We really need to win that game now. You know, the pressure is on, isn't it?
Yeah.
The pressure is on. We've got to beat Chelsea.
Yeah, Will says here, I doubt that James and Robbie wouldn't say they are backed. So I think he's saying in Arteta's position we wouldn't do the same thing. No,
I wouldn't.
I think people need to understand
I wouldn't say I'm being backed if I'm not being backed.
There's a very big difference between saying they're fully backing me, they want to invest in the team, I'm excited about what we can do this summer. That is all stuff Arteta said. What he could have said was, it's going to be a tricky summer because of the pandemic, but we're going to do everything we can. You know, we know things are tight for everyone around the league, but trust me, we are going to do all we can to, you know, improve the team, whatever. You know, sell the idea that you're working super hard, but don't make promises that I think are proving rubbish.
As I said, we're trying our hardest. I have been since Friday. I've been trying everything to be positive, but it's really difficult. Even the president of Rwanda, who's one of the main sponsors of Arsenal, tweeted out and said he can't take this mediocrity no more. But he went into a rant.
Yeah, he did. It was quite funny.
Went into a rant, the president of Rwanda. And you know what? Actually, that I was thinking to myself, that might, when you got sponsors starting to talk like that, that's not a good sign for Arteta.
Gets you moving, maybe.
Yeah, because, you know, although they have extended that, the Rwandan government have extended their sponsorship.
That was announced today, wasn't it? Not long ago, yeah.
So for another 3 years. But when you hear people like that starting to talk that way, because you never know, the people at Adidas behind the scenes might be like, hey, well, what's going on, man? Whatever. Yeah. What's the brand Adidas saying to, oh boy, you know what I mean? Yeah, little murmurings.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a good look for Mikel Arteta.
No.
And
I agree.
As I said, with those things about Lacazette and Aubameyang not being clear, hearing a bit about, you know, Bellerin's unhappy. You know, how must Cedric feel as well?
Right.
What was the point in bringing him in? I don't know. We could be wrong, but you get an impression of an unhappy camp.
I've got a really good super chat for you here from Andrew. Says, Arteta has been backed. He's somehow spent 156 million more than West Ham and Leicester combined in the same period, yet they finished higher. Now, the figures, that seems quite high, but the point is, he has spent a lot of money. So, in fairness, is there another angle to this, that he has been backed, he has been given money, and actually our frustration is in the way he spent it?
As I said, he's gone big this summer on Ben White.
Yes, yeah.
Which, at the beginning of the transfer window, if you surveyed 100 Arsenal fans and you said what was the most important position we needed, none of them would have said centre-back, would they?
No.
None of them. They would have said, oh, well, Saliba's coming back, we've got Gabriel, Rob Holding's there, Pablo Mari.
Chambers can cover.
Right, Chambers can cover. So, you know what, if you... I'll take a Sergio Ramos maybe to come, but, you know, that's not the priority right now. Defensive midfielder, creative midfielder, right back, goalkeeper. We ain't got none of them.
Nope. No, you're right. We've addressed none of them.
None. Addressed none.
Should take a few more super chats. Ahmed says, I don't feel bad for you guys. We have enough issues at United, but I'm old enough to know how Arsenal and Wenger changed football tactically and player coaching, but now Arsenal is full of amateurs. Oh, that hurts to hear. Sign with a super chat as well says, part one. Oh, he's done it in 2 parts. Fantastic. Guys, you mentioned the new signings have been good, which is true. And some of our players like Saka, Smith Rowe and Tierney have signed long-term contracts whilst publicly voicing their support for Arteta's long-term vision. I think part 2 is here. So if we had a team full of lads who support Arteta, do you think it will work? If so, should Arteta actually stay and the likes of Aubameyang and Lacazette leave if they simply don't buy into the vision? I want to get your answer on that. Just very quickly, the Aubameyang Lacazette thing, I think things can spiral sometimes, and you know, maybe we don't help it here by kind of maybe, what's the word, speculating. We are just speculating about what's going on with Aubameyang and Lacazette, but no one can deny, and I think this is fact, that Arsenal haven't gone about easing the fans, or at least telling the fans what's going on in the right way, personally, when it comes to this Aubameyang Lacazette thing.
No, I mean, you know, they could be ill. right? But I just feel that the way in which it's been communicated, like you said, it felt very strange. And then you then hear, they'll probably be out for the next set of games.
Yeah, that's weird.
Then you say to yourself, well, what's wrong with them then? What's the illness? I think that's a very fair question to ask. And I'm saying we're in a digital age now that if you don't, communicate that and say, well, he's got COVID or he's got a problem with such and such. You ain't got to go into big detail so that people can just say, okay, well, they're out.
Yeah.
He's got COVID.
What did you make of the point?
But if you don't say anything and you just leave it hanging in the air like, they're ill. And then remember, these stories are stories that not even they have told us. The first one about them being ill came out before the club had said anything. The second one about them missing the game at the weekend, that's come out again, not from the club. It's like it's leaked out. It's not a good sign. It's not good.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I agree with that. What do you make of his point that some of the youngsters, some of the signs have been good and some of the youngsters have committed their long-term futures to the club? Does that say something about maybe whether Arteta faces more? I mean, Joe Cole here with the super chat says, Arteta infamy, he's inherited a mess and you know it. Is it a crisis at Man City then? No striker and lost their first game to a team with no Kane. They did just get to the Champions League final.
They got to the Champions League final. They won They got to the Champions League final. They won the league last season. They won the League Cup. Yeah. I mean, come on. They've lost their first game. They've got players that, it happens, right? It's obviously not a crisis at Man City, but at Arsenal, where we've gone into the season unprepared, we finished the season last year 8th. We finished this season 8th, right? You're right, he inherited a mess. I agree with you, he did inherit a mess. But you know what? If you inherited a property and it's in a mess and you're given a load of money to do it up and it's still in a mess, probably even worse than when you bought it or no better, questions are going to be asked. So I'm sorry, I think the questions that are being asked right now of Mikel Arteta are legitimate questions, you know what I mean? People are asking, and as I said, the thing that really worried me when I was at that game on Friday wasn't so much, listen, I accepted that, you got guys like Balogun playing who they're kids. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's got no experience, a really tough ask for him to come in like that in the first game of the season. I accepted that, there's a lot of players missing, there's players, even Ben White. Ben White has been at the Euros, he's not really had a proper pre-season, so I accept all that. But it was just the way we played in that game. I saw no improvement from what we was doing last season.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, is this the players?
Yeah.
Or is this just the manager and the tactics and that just ain't right? Maybe it don't suit the players what he's trying to do. Kelechi made a really good point when he did his interview. And he said that, he goes, when Mikel Arteta came in and he won the FA Cup, he was playing 3 at the back.
Yeah.
Remember? Played that 3 at the back. He worked a system and it worked, right? Now he's trying to change it up, and obviously you want to be more progressive, but sometimes if something's not working and you don't quite have the players yet to do that system, then maybe you need to adapt a bit.
Yeah, revert back to type.
I don't think he's adapting enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Super chat from Aubameyang says, this might sound like a stupid question. Would you take Ollie to manage Arsenal, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
No.
If he were available, if not, why? I want to say no. I want to say because I think he's doing a good job at United, better than I thought he would, but I think he just suits that. I don't think
Ollie's still not won anything either. Let's remember that. You know what I mean? And listen, and I'm going to sound like I'm contradicting myself. It is the first game of the season. If I remember rightly, there was quite a few. Man United got off to a poor start to the season last year.
Yeah, really poor last
season. So did
Tottenham.
So did Tottenham. So did Manchester City. They got off to a poor start and they ended up winning the league. Remember, they went on that run where they won about 20 odd games straight. But the problem we've got here is that I'm worried because it's the start we've got. We've got 2 other really tough games coming up. Mm-hmm. It's not like, if we had Norwich coming up at home at the weekend, he'd be like, okay, let's calm down. We can make that 3 points there and we go again from there. But we really could be, if we play like how I saw us play against Brentford, we could be facing 2 more defeats quite easily.
Easily. CJ Super Chat says Arteta hasn't done enough to warrant the trust in the project. I'm all for patience, but we're too big turmoil for waiting games. Another Super Chat from Chitenda says we need to get players that can challenge for Leno, Xhaka and Chambers positions. Also, our Achilles heel is always counter or long balls. Also, we haven't replaced Giroud for all his issues. He could link in with heading corners. Yeah. Very true. I mean, those players.
Again, these are
again good point.
Again, these are Mikel Arteta's decisions. Yeah, to give Granit Xhaka a new contract. We're being told that he's going to get a new contract. It's done. Yeah. Until 2024, 25.
Another 24 with an option of extension.
So nearly another 3 years, right? That is the decision of Mikel Arteta and Edu. That means if it goes badly, they're to blame. Because they could have sold him, they could have got rid of him, they could have said, no, we're not. They could even have said, all right, Rome haven't bought you, but we're not renewing. But they've put faith in him by giving him a new contract. So.
What do you think?
Huh?
What do you think of the club's decision to do that?
Wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we should be moving on from Granit Xhaka. He had a great Euros. He's not the worst, as I've said publicly before, that last season I thought he was one of Arsenal's better players.
Yeah.
But I still think we need to be moving on from him. We should have went out and bought like Basuma or somebody like that. What we all know we need. But we didn't. Yeah. And now we're keeping faith in Xhaka. Now, that's you as the manager. That's your choice. If it works... But if it don't work, you've got to take the blame. That's your decision. You can't no longer turn around and say, well, like that previous guy said, he's inherited. Because you could have you've inherited that and you've kept that. And I'm telling you now, we're starting to see a lot of it, it was his decision to give Aubameyang a new contract. I wasn't against that. I wanted us to give him, but again, now you got to make him better. You got to get him out of that lull and make him better.
Yep.
Right? It's his decision to get rid of Guendouzi. If it goes wrong, you're going to get blamed. If it goes right and you're proven to be right, you're a genius. So these are the big decisions you make when you're a leader.
And they're big ones. They are big ones.
Big decisions you make when you're a leader. Right? So I don't want to hear this thing about inherit players. He's not I don't see him actively trying to move out, say, Mohamed El Neni.
Right.
And certain players like that. It was his decision to keep Leno and get rid of Martinez. So I'm sorry.
I hear that.
You're the manager now.
I hear that.
You're the manager, and I feel that the honeymoon period is long over. People are going to judge him now.
I get that. Naira with the super chat says we need to send Arteta on a 2-year loan with an option to buy, but I don't think any club wants it. Oh man! I mean, on the topic of that, you saw a really interesting news story, rumor, whatever it might be, about a certain Italian football manager.
Conte. I mean, Jacob Muir says Chelsea saw Lampard was going nowhere, so they sacked him. Look what they've achieved for being ruthless. Should Arsenal do the same and hire Conte? Now, this rumour's been going around. I have to say, that rumour, I'm not
buying it.
I'm not buying it really, because the sources come from, and I've read into it, it's speculation.
Right.
If Arteta gets sacked, we're hearing that they'll go for Conte, and then he could maybe bring in Martinez from. I think it's a lot of speculation. However, what I would say is that Conte would be perfect for Arsenal right now. Conte is the type of manager that squeezes the best out of every last player.
Yeah.
Conte is a manager that's ambitious and wants to win. So he's not going to say, "Oh, I'm being backed." He's going to come out there and say he's going to make it known if he's not being backed.
He fully left Inter because he knew he wasn't getting backed.
He will challenge the board. He will. It's just the type of manager we need right now. He's got experience of the Premier League. He won the Premier League.
Yeah.
He's won Serie A, right? He would be perfect right now. That's what we needed. We needed. I mean, I remember I always wanted what's his name at Juventus? Forgot his name.
Allegri.
Allegri. So I wanted him so much I forgot his name. I wanted Allegri, right? I wanted Allegri so badly because I was just like, we need an experienced manager, somebody who's won things.
Yeah.
And we went for Mikel Arteta, and it's a big gamble. He came in, he won the FA Cup, that was brilliant. But in the league, it's not been good enough. And I feel that I'm not buying those stories. He's not going to get sacked yet. I think if he was to lose the next 2 games, as I said, when you hear the president of Rwanda coming out and there'll be other sounds behind the scenes, I think he'll be under some serious pressure. But whether they'll sack him or not, I don't know. And I'm like you, I don't want to be calling for his head.
Yeah.
But he's under some. I'll tell you, he's under pressure.
He is because he's on borrowed time as well. I mean, we've got to be honest that not many managers at any level, would survive the kind of runs that we've been on under him. The Villarreal disappointment, some of the football we've seen, and look, there have been some highs. The FA Cup, and I know that was over a year ago, but
high, that's a high.
Yeah.
He said highs.
Oh yeah, well, 1.
Actually, a Community Shield.
There you go, 2 trophies. They're going to get in the comments, so they're going to get me now. It's not a trophy. Listen, I think there's been highs. I've really enjoyed some of our performances at Stamford Bridge. You think he's gone there twice and never lost. 1-1, drew 1. When we had, I think David Luiz got sent off, didn't he? So going to Old Trafford, winning for the first time there in ages, beating Leicester 3-1 at their ground. The North London derby against Spurs. There have been some performances that have given me a lot of encouragement. I thought, give him just a couple more of his players and it's all going to come together. But I have really lost that faith over the end of last season and obviously the opening game of this season, which is just a harsh reality. Shall we go through some super chats?
Yep.
What have we got? We've got Ishan says, I think it's Arteta that's the big problem, like Chelsea. Losing, so they sacked him. They won the Champions League, so it's him who needs to go. Christian says all the coaches we've had recently signed the players that they think will suit their system. So every coach we've had has added to the mess. That's a good point. This squad is an amalgamation of Wenger, Mertesacker's academy products, Emery signings, and Arteta signings. But
hold on a minute. Every manager that takes over a team has the same issues. There's no manager that takes over a team and says, right, all of you lot out. I've got a brand new team coming in tomorrow. Right? It happens to every single manager. And you know what some managers do? They take some of those players that people were like, he's crap, get him out and that, and they turn them into better players. Because that's what your job is. Your job as a manager is to manage. Your job as a coach is to coach, to improve the players that you've got. Because all of those players you've got are professionals, and all of those players you've got, if you're a big club like Arsenal, all of those players, right, are decent players. So your job is to get the best out of them, and he's not at the moment.
No, so listen, I completely agree with that. Of course, that's first and foremost, that's what a coach is meant to do. But Arsenal's such a mess that you feel with other clubs, at least there's a degree of perhaps planning in the profile of players they sign. You look at Leicester, right? Whether they had Rodgers or not, I think their plan is always to hire a manager and sign a type of player of a certain profile. Arsenal have been such a mess that we've just gone 60 mil for Aubameyang, who's been a great signing, even though we just got Lacazette for 55 million 4 months earlier. So it is a bit of a mess.
No, listen, he inherited a mess.
Yeah.
He inherited a mess. So did Conte, Inter Milan, and he won the league. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It happens. You're going to inherit a mess. Zidane inherited a mess.
Yeah.
When he was at Real Madrid.
Yeah. Very true.
Right. So it happens. But your job, and this is why sometimes you need somebody with a lot of experience, because when you inherit a mess, you need someone that's going to come in that everybody's going to respect and really get on board to turn that mess around. And to turn that around, you're going to have to make some really difficult decisions, which he has, to be fair, things like Ozil and things like that. But I just feel it's a job for an experienced guy.
I agree. We've got a couple more comments here. Michael says, Liga players are there for poaching. The league is broke, except PSG. What do? We give them 2 French internationals. Oh, I think that's Saliba and Guendouzi. Yeah, fair point. And another comment here. Jay Bell says
don't read that. Don't read that.
Why?
Because no, don't read that.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God! Somebody trying to don't read that.
What did I get the name? Did I get baited with the name?
No, you would have got baited if you read it.
Okay. Oh wow! I'm really. Go on, you carry on with the comments because I'm curious. I was wondering where I was going.
Luke Pearce. All right, Luke Henson says, I don't think it will happen, but Conte is perfect for us. 3 at the back gets the best out of White. He gets the best out of average players, which is what we need in this transition phase that we're in. I mean, even just going back to that, getting the best out of players and stuff like that. Look at even last year we were coming, play Martinelli. And he didn't want to play him.
Yeah.
I mean, he only played the other day because he's desperate. Because you know what I mean? It's things like that. I just feel that Martinelli should have moved on more.
Yeah.
I could see Conte really getting the best out of a Martinelli.
Yeah. I get what you mean. What do you think Conte would get with this current squad? If we didn't make any more signings under him, with this current squad, assuming Aubameyang and Lacazette want to play for it, where do you think he'd get with them?
Sorry, I missed that. I was reading that.
No, that's all right. Where do you think Conte would get? And I want to ask you guys in the comment section as well. Give me a position, 5th, 6th, 4th, whatever.
With this team?
With this current group.
With this current group, with Partey in it, with Lacazette, with Aubameyang, with Saka, with Emile Smith-Rowe, Ben White, Pepe, right? I think he could get 5th.
I'd go one further and say he could get 4th if there was one of those teams that just had like one of those like
a blip.
Yeah, one of those seasons where they just completely fall off.
But he would definitely do better with his team.
Yeah, I completely agree.
AS10 Madness, Robbie, you proclaimed that Ben White wasn't a priority signing. However, who would have played against Brentford since Gabriel is injured, Louise left, Mari and who? Answer this. Well, Rob Holding, huh? It would have been Rob Holding. Or it could have been Chambers. Well, Rob Holding was playing towards the end of last season, wasn't it? Rob Holding and Murray?
But also, I think they're kind of missing the point because we're not... Listen, by the way, I don't know if about you, I like Ben White a lot. I'm glad we signed him. I think he'll
so
be
am
a very good player.
Of course. I always want to see quality coming in.
Of course. But I think the point is more so... We signed William Saliba 2 years ago for 27 mil and said we wanted him that summer, but we agreed to the loan back just so that we could get him the year after, only to then keep him for 6 months and send him on loan again. And we're finally thinking, well, this summer he must be ready. David Luiz is off, it makes sense. And he's gone on loan again. So did we pay £27 million for a player we're not going to benefit from for 3 years? Like, was that the plan? Because I'd rather have not committed to that. I'd rather we got someone who could play the next 3 years, try and get us into the Champions League, and then you can go get a Saliba or someone else. So there's that point. But the other point I want to make is we might have, and this is just speculation, we might have strengthened in other areas if instead of buying Ben White, who I really like, I'm going to keep stressing that, we got Yannick Vestergaard for 15 mil, who's doing very well at Southampton. He's good enough for Leicester, who are a better team than we are right now. Would have strengthened, would have been an upgrade on Rob Holding, and then that's another 35 mil that could have gone on a right back, on a number 10. That would have paid Odegaard, right?
Would have paid Buendia, remember?
Right,
At the start, please remember this. Right at the start of the transfer window, we were trying to sign Buendia, and we pulled out of the deal when it went 35 mil.
Right.
Then we went and spent £50 million on a defender, and as James said, we had a £27 million defender who did well on his loan last year at Nice, that we've now sent back out on loan again to Marseille, and the Marseille manager is saying that he's one of the best players in that position in Europe. Yeah. So it's strange. And then if you put on top of that the fact that the player himself said, this is what he said, not me, I was not given a chance at Arsenal. That's why.
And that's the point we're really trying to make. It's not just.
It's not nothing against Ben
White.
It's not against Ben White, but it's just priorities. Yeah. Shane Howell says we can all pick things Arteta is doing wrong, but he's still got a lot of dead wood to deal with. In my opinion, he won't challenge or be serious until Stan's gone. Well, you're right. Stan Kroenke is a problem because, you know, even when you look into things, I look into it deeply and I say, if you're an owner that really has a winning mentality, you don't give the job to Mikel Arteta. Not yet. He needs to go and learn his trade, you know. And if you do give the job to Mikel Arteta, I think you then need to come out as the owner and say, listen, it's going to take us 4 years to get back to where we want, and we're trusting in this guy. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Give a pathway to the fans, but he just keeps quiet. Doesn't say anything. Just tells us to get excited. Boubacar says, 3 or 4 at the back have been tried, but we still lost games. We need multiple creative midfielders to create chances so we can start winning games. And again, as I said, going back to that Buendia thing, that was target number 1, priority, long before Ben White, wasn't it?
Yep.
At the start of the window, Buendia. Check it back. Go back, look at some of the early transfer dailies. Go back and look at some of the stories from May, June. It was all about Buendia. It was all about Arsenal trying to sign a creative midfielder. We didn't do it because they wanted a few £1 million more. We didn't do it. Then we find 50 million for Ben White. So this is what I'm saying. It's this weird.
Yeah, I agree that the window has been a little bit of a mess, and
it's been.
I really thought this was the one where we were going to get that. Maybe not the complete.
Well, this
overhaul.
is Arteta's window, isn't it?
It is really, and also I think December he'll have been in the job 2 years. It's not far away.
2 years,
you know?
Yeah.
And after 2 years, you really want to be able to point at progress. People say it took Klopp a long time to win anything and get to where Liverpool are now, or at least were when they won the title. Yes, but in a very short amount of time, you saw like a philosophy and a style. They started scoring loads of goals. They had a system they played. They went far in the Europa League. You know, you saw a lot of things that made you think, they're better. They are definitely better. And then his first full season, they got into the top 4. So, you know, and he didn't spend a lot of money. Yes, he spent some, 30 million on Mane that first summer and stuff, but he didn't spend a lot of money and he made a difference. So, look, I want it to work for Arteta, but, you know, time's running out. And, you know, it's got to start with a win against Chelsea on the weekend. Should we go back to the Super Chat?
Yep.
Sharon says, we need to come together as fans and protest and get all our games cancelled. Oh, wow. It will hit Kroenke where it hurts, point deductions and lost TV revenue. Yeah, then we'll be back in the Championship and Josh Kroenke will tell us to be excited. Joe Cole says, Robbie, Conte inherited Lukaku, Martinez, Hakimi, Eriksen, Sanchez. I don't think
that's not true.
Eriksen and Hakimi.
Yeah, he signed them.
Yeah. Also, James versus Brentford, 22 attempts, 65% possession, but apparently battered. I'm confused. I never said Brentford battered us, did I?
No, we didn't say they battered us. We had a lot of possession. Come on, 22 chances. How many clear-cut chances do we have? How many times did...
Do you know?
I think there was one Smith Rowe could have done better. Yeah, he was through. And there was the Pepe one where Raya pulled off an unbelievable save.
Stats websites have started not just writing out how many shots and shots on target you have, but they've actually started almost, I know it's subjective, but calculate how many big chances you had. And Arsenal, I swear, it said 0. Arsenal were considered to have had 0 big chances.
I don't know. I think that chance that what's classed as a big chance then, because that chance that was put in where Pepe hit it and Raya pulled off that brilliant save. I'd say that was a big chance.
Do you think? I think he just did really well to get a shot, because it was cut back a little behind him.
But is it not a big chance, because it's a great save?
I think a bigger chance was the Martinelli header from the corner. Do you remember when he got up? That for me...
He mistimed that, didn't he?
That for me was our best chance of the game. Smith Rowe did well to drive forward, but it was a bit stuck under his feet. But you know, you see, here we are debating, you know, should he have scored a... We're not talking about ones where we're head in our hands thinking we should have scored.
Yeah, we didn't get battered.
No, of course we didn't.
But we got bullied.
Yeah.
And it was a poor. For me, it's all about performance, and the performance was poor.
Yeah.
Poor. We had a lot of the ball because they let us have a lot of the ball. It's a very poor performance. Aaron says, I'm not saying Wenger in, hell no. But at least we were playing really attractive style of football with flair. And at least when we won, it was joyous. Now it's just boring.
To be fair, not in that last season. I do agree in general, but in that final season, we were very boring to watch. I do think people kind of forget that we weren't a great side that last year.
Aditya says, Robbie, do you think the Amazon doc will shed any light on on the goings on at Arsenal? It won't. I know one thing: they're rubbing their hands together often.
Amazon.
And the people like to talk about AFTV, mate. Bloody hell, the Amazon, they're going to themselves, yes. Listen, oh my God.
Yeah, they are.
All I'm hoping, and Mikel Arteta has the opportunity, and the players, turn it around at the weekend. Big opportunity to really turn things around. Let the fans leave that saying, you know what? All right, first game, blip.
Yeah.
That's more like the Arsenal I know and love. Big opportunity to do that. We got a good record against Chelsea. And I know Lukaku will probably be playing. We know they're champions of Europe and they're firing. Big opportunity to get fans back on side. Go and put in a massive performance against Chelsea at home.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it was Turkish was saying to me that he's been saying that he doesn't think it's sold out yet.
Yeah, apparently. Well,
which I can't believe. Again, that's...
But doesn't that tell you so much about where Arsenal fans are with all this? You know,
if that's true, that's extraordinary.
Yeah, that is.
First home game of the season against Chelsea.
And first game back with a full capacity crowd after the pandemic. I mean, you got to feel that that's one you want to be at, right?
I can't believe that.
But, I know, madness. Got another super chat from Alvaro says, Emerson, Bruno, Odegaard and Onana, a striker can wait. So I think he's saying those are the four. Emerson, the right back from Barcelona. Bruno Guimaraes, the Lyon kind of holding midfield, box-to-box midfielder. Odegaard, and obviously we know Andre Onana, the Ajax goalkeeper. Listen,
I think out of that you'll see Odegaard. That's probably about it.
How many signs do you think we're making before the end of the window?
I think we'll sign Odegaard. I think that might happen this week. I think we'll sign a goalkeeper. That could be it. We may sign a right back. It depends on getting rid of Bellerin. Depends on getting rid of Ainsley. I think there's going to be loads of loans. I don't think Arsenal are going to sell many players. I think you're going to see a whole host of players being loaned out. Reece Nelson be loaned out. Lucas Torreira will be loaned out. Ainsley Maitland-Niles will be loaned out. They'll probably pay off Kolasinac's deal. Who else am I thinking? Willian will be probably loaned out or sold. So you're going to see a lot of activity of players leaving right near the end of the transfer window.
Yeah, I think that a lot's going to go on. Ganapathy says, James, everything you said on Klopp is what Ollie is doing, but he's not getting the credit because he is Ollie. Better team, European final, a system. Only thing I'll say, look, I said Ollie's doing a good job, but Jurgen Klopp spent way less money in that time frame than Ollie spent in that time frame, and I think it was his second season that Klopp, or first season back in the Champions League, he got to the final. You know, United lost on penalties to Villarreal,
and he inherited a bigger mess than both Arteta and Ollie.
Yeah, I agree with that. Alex the Super Chat says, hi Robbie, we also need to start talking about Edu. He seems to have no knowledge on football. Truth be told, Aubameyang is not good for the club anymore. I mean, okay, let's break this down. We don't know about the Aubameyang thing, so let's see what's going on, but it doesn't look good. I wouldn't say Edu has no knowledge on football. I mean, you know, he was a pretty big player for Arsenal.
Great player.
Yeah, he really was, but questions about the job he's doing.
Serious questions. If I sat down with Edu, I'd like to say to him, you made some good signings, but some of them. But please explain to me the Willian signing.
Yeah.
Cedric signing.
Runnison.
Runnison.
Yeah. Jay, with Super Chat says, we sacked Emery for less. Why is Arteta still here?
Silkworm says, we're a mess up top. Give Arteta a break. You're wanting to compromise process, play to suit available players. He did that and won a cup. When should he build? Well, I'm sorry. We finished 8th 2 seasons in a row. We're not in European football for the first time since the Premier League begun. Questions need to be asked, serious questions. And he's run out of the honeymoon period. That's well and truly over now.
Yeah.
Right? Well and truly over. Need to explain. You got to improve.
He's also passed all the possible kind of excuses. No pre-season, not his team, all that. That's...
Any manager that's finished 8th 2 seasons in a row would be under pressure at a club like Arsenal, or should be under pressure anyway.
Yeah, I think so too. Super chat from James says, what score are you expecting against Chelsea with Lukaku? 3 or 4-0? Without our key names and no right back or number 10 yet. No attacking threat at all. We need some fight. Yeah, we are going to need fight to win on the weekend.
Sebastian said, imagine if we had Saliba, Guendouzi, Martinez, Lucas in our squad. Wow, I'd be excited, he says.
We've got another super chat from Aubameyang who says, why is Ollie disrespected so much? He stabilised the team with fragile egos and underperforming players who'll eventually win a trophy. I think the thing with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right, he's not going to get the full respect until he wins a trophy. Yeah.
You stabilise the squad. He's been there as well. He's been there for a couple of years now. You haven't won anything. It's Manchester United. You've got big players, Pogba, Bruno Fernandes. They were there last year. He still didn't win anything. It's not good enough for a club of that size. Just like the same with Arsenal, it's not good enough what we're seeing now. Give him his due. He got off to a great start. Finished second last season. Got to a final. But I feel that until he wins something, he's not going to get. He shouldn't get bigged up until he wins something. When you're managing a club like Man United, this is what's got to be the standards when you're at a massive club like Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool. When you're at these clubs, finishing 8th or 3-4 years without a trophy and things like that, it's not acceptable. And unfortunately, that's how it is. Mikel Arteta himself, not me, not James, Mikel Arteta himself said, this club is huge, this club has to win trophies, This club has to win games. That's what he said. So he knows the drill. If you don't do that, you're out. End of. Or you're under serious pressure. So, that's why Ollie doesn't get the respect that Klopp's done, because Klopp's won the Champions League. Yeah. And Klopp's won the league. And Pep's won the league. And that's why you don't get, even Tuchel, he's won the Champions League. He ain't going to get the respect that those guys get until he does something, at least win a trophy. Yeah. As simple as that.
Let's end on some news and just round up. Darmesh from Sky said, Arsenal cautiously optimistic of completing the Martin Odegaard transfer from Madrid. Talks continue over the structure of the deal. Odegaard's Real Madrid shirt number 21 from last season has now been assigned to Rodrigo. That's quite interesting. And
he's definitely going. He wasn't in the squad for the game at the weekend. I think they played, was it Alaves or Real Sociedad, one of them two teams, but he wasn't in the squad. He's off. Yeah. And I think it sounds like it's going to be a loan. Yeah. With an option to buy, and I think I'd be happy with that. I liked Odegaard, and I think the good thing about him is that he can come into the team and hit the ground running.
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
And I feel that that's a player that will improve as the season goes on.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to take one more super chat? I don't know if we have any more. Otherwise, I've got a final question for you.
There are a couple more. What's going on with Reece Nelson? He blacked out his profile picture on Instagram, says Christian G.
I've not seen that. Have a little look.
He must be hiding. Right. I do feel that he's going to be loaned out. Yeah. Again, that's another person that's going to get loaned out, which is Reece Nelson. And Shiva says, Robbie, India just won the Lord's Test. Loved that. Yeah. Big up India. And it wasn't Indian Independence Day yesterday or the day before.
Okay.
So big up all the Indians out there. Big up.
Was that cricket, did you say?
In cricket, yeah, they beat England.
I don't watch
They
much
beat England.
cricket,
Oh, there's another super chat. Thank you, by the way, for all the super chats.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And not just the super chats, all the comments that have come in today. It's been unbelievable. Alex says, I'm not saying Xhaka is a bad player, but for the fact that he was not sold to Roma shows we don't have any leader, and Xhaka is the only one to help out. Aubameyang is not a leader, in my opinion. I kind of agree. I think they should take the captaincy from Aubameyang. Say to him, you know what? You don't need this right now. Just focus on your football. But I wouldn't give it to Xhaka.
Yeah.
Not after what he did. He's had his chance. I'd give it to Kieran Tierney.
Yeah, I'd give it to Kieran Tierney.
And Prignac says Arteta is definitely not a good manager. People say he is tactically very good and say he needs specific type of players. Why do we think so? Let's be honest. He won the FA Cup by parking the bus. That's a bit harsh. I don't think we parked the bus.
I don't think it was quite.
Carl says Ben Foster would probably won't start for Watford. Would take him as backup, given his experience, or take someone who will challenge Leonard. I like Ben Foster. He's a good keeper. He's got a good YouTube channel as well.
Yeah.
Right, so
It'd
be fun.
That would be interesting.
Fun.
I want to ask you this final question, Rob, before we round up. We started by talking about Aubameyang and Lacazette. Let's kind of get like a final, what we think is going to happen here. Do we think when deadline day is done, hits 11 or whatever, and the bell rings at Big Ben and all that, will they still be Arsenal players, do you think?
I think Aubameyang will be, because where else is he going to go? Who's going to pay that wages? It's another Ozil situation. You can't. Listen, if he would have been on form last season and did what he's done the previous seasons, and there was all this sort of noise going on around him, maybe they could have moved him on.
Yeah.
But where's he going to go? Who's going to take him? Unless there's a mega fallout and they're just like, get him out.
Yeah.
He'll still be at Arsenal. And the Lacazette one, I mean, I can still see him being there, because they missed out on Tammy Abraham. They wanted to bring Tammy Abraham in, I think. Tammy Abraham wanted to come, but again, we haven't coughed up the money. And I feel now that, who else? I always look on it, and I've said this from the beginning, I know it is the time to move on Lacazette. He's got 1 year left on his contract. It is the time to move him on. But there's no point in moving him on if you're not going to bring in no one better. And Tammy Abraham, I'm not sure if he's better, but he would have been, you could have argued a definite case for him because he's got different attributes. But now that Tammy Abraham has gone to Roma, who are you going to bring?
Yeah.
Or there's players like Dusan Vlahovic, they want like 55 million plus for that. Arsenal are not going to pay that.
Nope.
Who else is there striker-wise? There's not really a lot of great strikers out there at the moment. I mean,
that Celtic guy, so Odsonne Edouard.
He's better than Lacazette.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I think if I was a betting man, I think they'd both be here, unless something terrible has gone on behind the scenes, and he's been kicked out.
And they're going to find out.
And he also said, why should we support Arteta's decision getting Abba and Laka out? Arteta should be the first one that gets out first. Now, remember, they're ill. What are you laughing about? They're ill.
Okay.
Hope
they get better soon.
Listen, remember, they could be ill.
100% they could be. But our issue wasn't... Listen, there's speculation, right? That's just people speculating. Oh, this doesn't really sound right. Then there's, the fact that the club definitely should have communicated much better with the fans what is going on with this situation. I think we have a right to know why both our captain and then our other star striker are unwell on the first day of the season. And, okay, fine, some things are kept private. And they're so confident that they've leaked to the media that they're probably not going to be fit for Sunday.
As I said,
I've got a
sneaking feeling COVID could be a case, but I just don't understand why, if that is the case, why they don't just say. Simone says, excuses if we don't have the minimum 5 points by City. Arteta's got 5 points. Well, that's impossible anyway.
Yeah, I mean that's I mean,
Arteta's
4
got to go.
points.
Give any other experienced manager this squad, and watch Arsenal under Kroenke. Arsenal under Kroenke is done. It's finished. There's a load of other super chats coming in. Let's just see if we can do a couple of them.
Yeah, let's quickly
we
get
did that
through
one.
them.
Todd says we should do what Blackpool fans did. Of course, they stopped going to games. They refused. And Tiseris says, so sad to see the club going down the hill. Conte in, and he will make men out of a squad. And he says Arteta out.
We
And,
were talking about Conte earlier.
well, listen, it's been an interesting one. We're all still hurting a bit. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to try from James. I'm going to try from tomorrow to be positive for the rest of the week.
Put Brentford behind us.
I'm going to put Brentford behind us. I'm going to look forwards. Hopefully we can get us, Odegaard in this week. Yeah.
Let's try it. I've just seen trending Ronaldo to PSG, so I better go read up on that. But I mean, it just puts.
They're taking a piss now, man. If they get Ronaldo as well.
I mean, oh my God. And who are we going for? Anyway.
Do you know my son? Yeah. My son said to me at the weekend, "Dad, can I support PSG?"
Did he?
Yeah. That's what he said.
Oh,
and I said no.
Did
I said, yeah, I said no. I said actually, you can like them as a team abroad, but you still support Arsenal. I'm going to beg my kids now to keep supporting Arsenal.
I love that you didn't say, look, it's your choice. You can
No, I said no. What I said to him is, I said one day, we could go, maybe I could get over to France and we could go and watch a game there or something.
Yeah, okay.
But you're an Arsenal supporter. So, listen, thank you very much for watching the show tonight. It's been fun. Thank you to everybody. Over 9,000 people watching live. It's been incredible. For all your comments, for all the super chats, for all the love. Thank you very much for that. Big up to everybody who watched all of our content over the weekend. You guys did a great job in the studio. We were at the game. It was fantastic. Remember, here on AFTV, we've got all angles covered when it comes to Arsenal, whether it be here in the studio, whether it be at the game, whether it be down at the ground. We are there, right? This is your Arsenal channel. So make sure you subscribe and like this video. And I'll be back in the morning with another Transfer Daily. Hopefully, something more positive. I'm trying it. Listen, I'm going to try my hardest, right? From now till Sunday, positivity.
Prepare for heartbreak.
Positive. We're going to beat Chelsea.
Oh, man. Thanks, man.